Hello, YouTube! How are you doing today? Good, I hope. Good, I hope. So, I wanted to begin talking today about a interesting subject that I have been battling with as of late. It is conservation of ostomy supplies. With the idea of running out of ostomy supplies, which I have done before. It was the longest 2 days of my life, and it was spent mostly in the bathtub with a Ziploc bag over my ostomy. But with that experience, I decided to think, and I know, difficult for me sometimes, but I got to thinking about it, and I thought to myself, well, if I save ostomy supplies, if I go from changing my bag and wafer from every 3 days to stretch it out, say, to 5, 6, even 7 days sometimes, and therefore saving supplies, and then after give about a month or two, you have a fair amount of supplies left over. I have gotten in the habit of doing that, and it's for better and worse. I have an abundance of ostomy supplies now, which I feel great in knowing that if I were to ever lose insurance or for whatever reason could not get ostomy supplies, I am completely stocked up for a few months, and I have a really great sensation in feeling that. And knowing that if, for whatever reason, I ran out of supplies, or not supplies, but healthcare, I would have ostomy supplies for a little while to get me through. But in that, there are 3 inherent problems that I can see, at least 3 big ones, that come with saving your supplies and not using them I guess, as recommendation. And this may go a little bit against the grain as far as I do not recommend saving and wearing your ostomy products until they fall off, for the 3 reasons that I'll mention. One being the smell. When you're wearing a wafer, and after 3 to 4 days, the compound will start to break down, and it will actually excrete, or not excrete, but smell will start coming from the wafer itself. And that actually is another good topic to go off on a tangent about. I'll try to keep it short. When you can smell your wafer, your ostomy, that is generally a good tell sign that you need to change your wafer right there. But that's not to say that it's going to fall off instantly or it's automatically bad. It's just a good rule of thumb. It's a good way to gauge if your wafer is the compound's starting to break down and it's releasing a little bit of smell. So in that, you think that if you're wearing your wafer for 7 days and you should have been replacing it at 3 days, the wafer compound will start to break down, and after the 3rd or 4th day, at least for me anyways, I found that it doesn't always, but it can start to smell after 3 or 4 days, you'll notice. So smell is, again, a big drawback as far as wearing your wafer until it falls off or fails to try and save or conserve ostomy products. The second problem is, of course, the skin itself. When you wear a wafer on your skin that's breaking down, it breaks down from the inside out, obviously, and your stool will get caught up underneath the wafer and it will be sitting against your skin, and it can cause redness, rash, irritation. It itches, it can burn, sting, it can cause bad things. So again, with those problems, especially with the skin irritation, I really don't, I wouldn't recommend it, but again, I'm making a video about it because I think I think it's good to have ostomy supplies in reserve. I think it's good to have a backup. I just enjoy the feeling of knowing that whatever happens, I'll have ostomy supplies for a good long while. And the third reason is, ooh, I'm back. All right, battery failed. That was pretty awesome. All right, so the third reason is, of course, it goes along the lines of smell and your wafer breaking down. If, of course, you're walking around, if you're out at dinner, if you're out on a walk, whatever you're doing, if you're out of the house and you're walking around with a wafer that is deteriorating and on its last legs, so to speak, it increases infinitely the odds of having a ostomy failure outside of the house, which is incredibly embarrassing. I've had it happen to me a few times, let's just put it that. And it can be uncomfortable, embarrassing, and it's kind of a I can't believe that just happened to me scenario. But again, that's another horrible and really bad problem with wearing the wafer and the bag longer than recommended. Again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I also think that it's maybe good to keep in mind in the back of your head that if, say, for instance, you were to not be able to get ostomy supplies for a month. Maybe you went on a trip or a vacation and you needed extra. There's lots of reasons that I can think of, and then there's a lot of reasons that I potentially cannot think of to have extra ostomy supplies. So I always think it's good to have some in reserve. But again, I'm rambling. Those are my 3 reasons not to do it. However, I think, again, it's great to have ostomy supplies and backup. And I hope you take everything I say with a grain of salt. And I hope you continue watching and keep subscribing. Click like if you enjoy the video, and comment and tell me what you think and what you'd like to see more videos of. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy.